You ever get that feeling that your body is trying to tell you something? Well, today, we're diving into the core ideas from Amy B. Scher's book, How to Heal Yourself. The whole premise is that our physical symptoms are often a kind of secret language, a message that our subconscious is trying to send us.
And this whole journey really starts with the author herself. Picture this, she's only 25, living what she thought was her absolute dream life. She had no clue that a massive challenge was just around the corner, one that would completely change everything and lead to the very ideas we're talking about today. The book kicks off with this really powerful metaphor, right? You could spend all your time and energy treating those leaves, the symptoms you can see, but the book argues that the real issue isn't in the leaves at all. Nope, it's hidden way down, deep in the roots.
So that journey to the roots, it begins with a problem that, unfortunately, a lot of people can relate to. Having a great life that suddenly gets derailed by some mysterious illness that completely stumps the medical world. For Amy, her health crisis kicked off back in 2005. It started with pain, trouble walking. Before long, this super vibrant, successful woman couldn't even lift her arms to wash her own hair. And for years, she was just trapped in this maddening loop of misdiagnoses, getting sicker and sicker until, finally, an answer came. Late-stage Lyme disease. And listen, this is not some rare, isolated story. The CDC estimates that there are around 300,000 new cases of Lyme disease every single year in the US alone. To put that into perspective for you, that's twice as common as breast cancer and 6 times more common than HIV/AIDS. It's a huge problem. So, after years of treatments that just didn't work, the author has this aha moment, this pivotal realization. What if her body wasn't just failing her? What if it was actually trying to talk to her? And that one idea, well, it changed everything. Okay, so here's the core idea of the whole book. It suggests that all our unprocessed emotions, our limiting beliefs, they create these energetic traffic jams in our bodies. And when that energy gets stuck, it has to go somewhere, right? So it shows up as physical symptoms. In this way of looking at things, the symptom isn't the problem, it's just the messenger. This brings us to the book's main method, which is rooted in the field of energy psychology. You can think of it as a way to work directly with your body's underlying energy. It's wiring, basically, to release all that stress and stuck emotion that more traditional methods might totally miss. Now this is absolutely critical to understand about how our bodies work. It's like we have a switch with only 2 settings. We're either in crisis mode, that's your classic fight or flight response, or we're in healing mode, where the body repairs itself. But here's the kicker. It can't be in both at the same time. All real, genuine healing has to happen when the body is in that state of relaxation. This naturally leads to a huge question, doesn't it? If our mental state is so important, just how much power does it actually have over our physical bodies? Well, check out this study. It's a fantastic example of the placebo effect. Back in 2014, the New England Journal of Medicine looked at patients with serious knee pain. One group got the real surgery. The other group got a sham surgery. They made the incisions, made it look real, but didn't actually repair anything. The result was absolutely astonishing. Both groups reported the exact same level of improvement. Their belief alone was enough to kickstart a physical healing response. Okay, so if our beliefs and emotions are that powerful, how in the world do we actually work with them? Well, the book lays out a really practical 3-part framework to do just that. The whole process starts with surrender. And hey, this isn't about giving up. It's about stopping the exhausting fight against where you are right now. Once you've done that, you can move on to identify the subconscious blocks. And then finally, you use some simple techniques to clear that stuck energy for good. And the great thing is, these aren't just vague concepts. The book gives you real, tangible tools for each step. For surrender, something as simple as a chant can help switch your body into relaxation mode. To identify blockages, there's a fascinating technique called muscle testing, which basically lets you ask your subconscious questions directly. And to clear them, there's a popular tapping method called EFT, or emotional freedom technique, which helps release those stuck emotions. But the author really hammers this point home, and it might be the most important part of the whole thing. The specific technique you use to clear the energy, it matters way less than correctly figuring out the root emotional blockage in the first place. Finding the what, that's the real key. But this whole healing framework, it's not just about making your symptoms go away. It's actually aimed at something much, much deeper, something that gets to the very core of who we are. The ultimate goal here is authenticity.
In this view, healing isn't about fixing something that's broken in you. It's about shedding all the layers that aren't actually you, the fears, the old beliefs, the weird patterns, so that you can finally emerge as the person you were always meant to be. And this means we have to get really honest with ourselves about the patterns we all carry. Things like always putting yourself last, or being paralyzed by a fear of not being perfect, or trying to control every little outcome. The book argues that these kinds of emotional patterns create a massive and constant stress on our physical bodies. And this quote, it just nails the core shift in mindset, doesn't it? It's about moving away from trying to constantly fix yourself and instead moving toward a place of profound self-love and just radical acceptance of who you are, flaws and all. And so the book leaves us with this incredibly powerful question, which is actually from the great mythologist Joseph Campbell. It reframes this entire journey. It's not a battle against an illness. It's an adventure in self-discovery. So the final question isn't really just about healing your body. It's about whether you are willing to say a big, hearty yes to your own life.